Hello there.
Hey, hey!
Welcome back to Live at the Cantina. I'm Noah.
I'm Kevin. Another week, another podcast.
Yep.
Here we are. Something I wanted to say that we didn't make that clear last week. We're finally doing a video podcast.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of last episode, we were like, well, this is what we look like, but we never said that we were on a video. So,
That's true.
if audio listeners out there, they're probably really confused.
Probably.
So I wanted to get that out right away.
We were too into our bits.
Yeah, we were. We planned out
fun.
We planned out that Boba Fett Kylo Ren mask thing way in advance, and we were just so worried about getting it just right, you know.
Yeah. So.
Also, I do want to apologize if you did see the video podcast from last week. The quality of that video was horrendous.
It wasn't great, but it was our first video.
Yeah.
So we're figuring stuff out, and we think this video is going to be a lot better.
I played with the iris on the camera a little bit, so hopefully the lighting. I mean, it looks like it's a lot better.
It already looks a lot better.
So hopefully that translates to the final product.
Yeah, and editing wise, we can see if we can fix anything too if we need to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if we need to. It looks pretty
we might not need to now, but it'll be better quality this time.
Yes, so that's exciting.
Yes.
We got quite the episode today.
Yeah, so today we're going a lot deeper with our topic than last week. And talking about the sequels.
The sequel
all about
trilogy. Everything and anything and everything.
And
and anything.
And anything. Yeah. So we're going to kind of just start from the beginning and just move onwards, like, chronologically. And, like, even just before the movies came out, the beginning when Disney bought Star Wars. So
2012.
Yep, 2012.
George Lucas was like, here, have this.
For $4.05 billion. A lot of money. I'm pretty sure he donated a lot of that to schools, though, which is very nice of George.
Nice guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy. But so that happened. And then right when Disney bought Star Wars, they immediately said, all right, we're going to make 3 movies, and here's their dates. And I'm pretty sure the dates are pretty true to when the sequel movies came out. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked at those dates since 2012, probably. But so they did that. And then we had, and, you know, there was some time where we weren't really hearing too much news. But then we had the image come out of the cast of The Force Awakens. Do you remember that image? It was like black and white.
The table read? When they were all sitting around?
Like all the cast.
Yeah, I remember the table read picture.
Yeah, I remember that was really hype seeing that.
Yeah.
Because you had the new cast, you had the old cast. You had no idea who these new people were or what they were going to do. You had, like, you know, Anthony Daniels in there and, like, everything. So that was really hype seeing that picture.
It was. When did that was...
That was...
When was that? 2014 probably?
That was probably 2013, 2014.
Yeah. Because they announced the trilogy. Was that before or after the trailer came out? Because that's something I want to talk about.
That was before the trailer came out, was that picture.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was the first thing that came out with, like, anything.
So that's the first time we ever saw any of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And then the first teaser trailer dropped. And man, oh man.
The hype was real.
Was it starting to get hype?
Yeah, those first trailers for Force Awakens is when hype really started to kick in with everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Though that's one thing I wanted to talk about too, is I was extremely hyped. You know, for when the teaser trailer came out, the trailer came out, I had goosebumps. You know, I was like tearing up a little bit at these trailers, and it's been so long. But, like, one thing I wanted to ask you is, this was when you were still not into Star Wars. Because you didn't get Star Wars until you saw Force Awakens.
We talked about that on the first episode.
So what was your kind of reactions to the trailer? I'm assuming you probably weren't as hyped as me, but I mean, I don't know.
I was excited because I knew very well that there was a high potential for these to draw me back into Star Wars, and I was kind of like expecting for that to happen. And then obviously the first couple teaser trailers came out, but then I think what really got me was the final, like, official trailer, because that one,
the official trailer
I think, in my opinion, is the greatest movie trailer of all time, because it's just, oh, dude, the music and then everything it shows, because, like, at the time, you know, that's the first Star Wars we've gotten in 10 years, you know? So it's like, it was very exciting.
Yeah.
It
was very
built up
exciting.
the hype like
and
nothing else.
It definitely built up the hype so much because the old cast was in the movie. If the old cast wasn't in the movie, I don't think it would have been as hyped up as it was. Like, yeah. But because Han and Luke and Chewie and Leia and all of them were in it, that really built up the hype for that. And then, so, you know, the trailer comes out. It's 2015, December. It's time to go see the movie.
I remember, I have a story about this. So the day officially the movie came out, December 20th?
I don't know.
It was a Friday.
Yeah, it was a Friday.
You saw it the night before.
Yeah,
on that Thursday.
Premiere night.
I remember that Friday because I hadn't seen it yet, and I was taking no chances. It was sophomore year of high school. All day in school that day, I had my headphones in, blasting Metallica as loud as I could, so I would not hear a single thing anybody said about that movie.
Because people were talking about like crazy.
For sure. And somehow, luckily, thanks to Metallica
saved me.
I didn't hear any spoilers. So that was,
that's good.
That I was so glad about that. And then, so I don't think we didn't get tickets until I got home from school that day.
Yeah.
Because I remember I asked my dad to like use his credit card to get them online and stuff. And then my mom was going to drive us. Were you with me when she took us?
Yeah.
Because we met up with Tim and the boys.
I want to rewind just for a second because I went Thursday night.
Oh yeah, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, so I went Thursday night and I was with my dad and Jordan and Connor, and we went to the first showing at AMC at Great Lakes. And I remember that was back when, well, first of all, AMC just recently had selective seating where you could pick your seats. So they didn't have that back then. But we still bought our tickets online. But I remember like picking up Connor and picking up Jordan and my dad driving us there. And we got there like 2.5 hours early so we can stand in line and wait so we could get good seats.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's commitment.
No, it was, dude. And there was people in front of us though. So we weren't the first ones there. I mean, we were definitely probably the first like 10, 15 though. And we just stood there for like 2 hours or whatever time it was, but no one else had seen the movie. So you weren't going to see spoilers and stuff.
Did you get the
anything.
Very first show?
Yeah, we had the very first show.
Okay.
And it was, I think it was the IMAX 3D.
Why didn't I go with you?
I have no idea.
Did you invite me?
I don't know. I remember I don't think I did, honestly.
Are you serious, dude?
I remember inviting Connor and Jordan because I'm like, yeah, both of them are really into Star Wars, and you weren't into Star Wars at all then, so I didn't think you'd want to go see it. So I don't think I invited you.
Unbelievable. You know what? No. I'm done. I'm out of here, dude. Podcast is over. Oh, there he goes. For those audio listeners out there, I just got up and pretended to leave because I'm mad at Noah now. So, also for the audio,
he knew this. He knew this.
No, actually, I didn't.
You knew I went the night before, though.
I know, but I thought you invited me, and I just decided to say no for whatever reason.
I mean, I might have. I honestly don't remember. I just remember Jordan Connor.
I don't remember either.
So,
also,
I could have. I could not have.
For the audio listeners out there, I'm a little distracted this episode because
you could probably hear it a little bit.
Yeah, you can probably hear the noises of everything. I got some Legos, and I thought it'd be fun to build them on the podcast. I got the Rey and Kylo fight at Starkiller Base because, for those of you who don't know, which is all of you, Noah got me. Okay, so under my TV, I have a Lego Phase 1 Clone Trooper, a Lego Phase 2 Clone Trooper, and a Lego Stormtrooper. Because it's like the evolution of the trooper, you know? You start out with Phase 1, go to the Phase 2, and eventually they turn into Imperial Stormtroopers. But I was missing one. Because what did the Imperial Stormtroopers turn into? First Order Stormtroopers. And I didn't have a Lego First Order Stormtrooper. So my collection was incomplete. But then Noah bought me a
First Order set.
A battle pack
Yeah,
for
battle
Christmas.
pack.
That's what they're called, man. Battle
Are
packs.
they really?
Yeah. He got me a battle pack for Christmas. That is the Praetorian Guard like fight scene from The Last Jedi. That for whatever reason
There's a first order.
it has a
trooper
first
in
order
it.
stormtrooper in it. So he's part of the collection now. But now I you can see it on the table if you're
Yeah,
watching
it's
the
right
video.
there.
I have them on there. I have that, but it's like it feels like something's missing. So I was like, what's missing from that? Something's not right. And I was like, oh well, Rey and Kylo aren't there kicking their butts. So I bought a battle pack that had Rey and Kylo in it, so I could pose.
So I
Yeah.
could pose.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
that's the story on that and why I'm
distracted.
a little
and
bit distracted this episode.
making Legos.
Yeah. We're out, it's
We're
just
just fun.
We're having fun.
Yeah,
We're
building
doing our
Legos,
own
why not?
thing. Yeah.
All right, so back to premiere night. So me and Jordan and Connor, my dad, we're staying there for a while. Honestly, I don't even remember what we did. I think we just stood there. Like, there's nothing you can do. So we just stood there, and then we got in the theater. And even when we went to sit down, we were still like 45 minutes, an hour before the movie started. So then we sat there for like an hour, and we probably stood outside for like an hour, then sat there for an hour. I remember being so hyped. I made an Instagram post about it,
I do remember your
Yeah.
Instagram post.
and I don't know why. I think the 3D showing was the first showing, so that's the reason why we went to the 3D one.
Mm-hmm.
Because Star Wars is not 3D. There was nothing 3D about it. But
I saw The Force Awakens in 3D.
did you?
Yeah.
I don't remember anything.
Remember when Kylo froze the blaster bolt that post shot?
Oh, yeah.
That was in
I remember
3D.
that.
I'm sure there was like an X-Wing or something that was.
Probably. But
That was it though.
yeah, that was about it.
Mhm.
So we watched it then, and that was really hype. And then the next day, I remember specifically being at lunch, and everybody I think there was only like one or two people at the table, the lunchroom table, that have seen the movie,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody that didn't wanted to talk about the movie. They wanted to know all the spoilers, and I was like, "Why do you want to know this? Just go see the movie." But they eventually convinced me to talk about it. But it was just so weird.
Mhm.
Like, but I wasn't gonna talk super loud, because well, there's probably people around me that haven't seen the movie. I want to go see it, so
Got to be considerate.
yeah.
you
So
know?
I was kind of talking a little quiet, but then we went. Then now it's Friday, and me and you. Julie's driving us.
Do you remember the weather?
Yeah, the weather was really bad. The icy
The
roads.
roads were solid ice.
Yeah.
It's like driving on a hockey rink.
Mm-hmm.
That's how icy it was. It took us forever to get there.
It took us a long
I was
time.
super nervous that we were going to miss it
Oh yeah, I remember
because
that.
it was taking us so long to get there. Eventually, we made it. I think my mom stuck around because she didn't want to
Yeah,
drive
I
home,
think
so I
she
think she saw a movie
I think she did.
while she was there.
yeah,
yeah.
pretty sure she did.
Mhm.
And then we met Connor again, and then Tim and Garrison. I think that was it. I don't.
Wasn't
remember.
it everybody?
I honestly don't remember.
It was so
I just
long
remember
ago.
those three being there.
Yeah. I remember Garrison.
Yeah, Garrison. If
Oh,
you're listening
Garrison,
to us,
if
you
you're
were
listening
quite
to this,
the
man.
quite the character while we were watching that movie. Because Garrison saw it the night before too.
Yeah, he did. And I remember the scene when Ray is walking downstairs in Maz's castle. I remember he leans over to me and he taps on my shoulder. He's like, "Look at BB-8 go down the stairs."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can see that.
And
Garrison.
then also there was that first shot with Ray, and she's living in that AT-AT
Uh-huh.
on the ground. He was like, "Hey, dude, that's an AT-AT." And we're like, "Garrison, yeah, we know what this is."
Oh man, Garrison, we love you.
Yeah, you're a funny guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was
bless your
funny.
heart. So let's talk about the movie.
Yeah.
So what were you expecting going into it?
Oh gosh, honestly, I was pretty open-minded to it. I wasn't really expecting a whole lot. I mean, I had a feeling that someone was gonna die, and I had a feeling that it was gonna be Han.
Uh-oh.
Just because of the trailers had him in it quite a bit, and they didn't really show, Luke or Leia or anything. So I don't know. I just had this feeling going in, and I was right.
Sorry about that.
But honestly, that was the only thing I was really expecting was that. I was kind of like, I mean, especially when the scene happens and there's the bridge. It's like, well,
Yeah,
this is
you
clearly
could
going to
tell.
happen. I know it's going to happen. I don't want it to happen, but
Is that when you started crying?
no.
Do you cry right when it happened?
Yeah.
Okay. You cried every time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw it when I was with Jordan. I think Jordan looked at me when he died. And then I think you might have been sitting next to me and you looked at me the second time.
I think I
after he
was next
died.
to you the
Yeah,
second time.
And then you looked at me when it happened because everybody knows I love
Yep. I had to see what your face looked like.
Mm-hmm. So what was your initial reaction to it? Like the whole movie in general?
Loved it.
Loved it.
You know that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty obvious.
No, yeah, I mean,
No,
going back to 2015, you know.
Throwing it back to 16-year-old Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
It was the movie I didn't know that I needed until I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like before then, okay, going back to what we were talking about earlier, I think the trailers were what reeled me back into Star Wars, because knowing how hyped I was before the movie even came out, and like why I didn't want to hear any spoilers and stuff, I was in at that point.
And I totally even forgot that the first Battlefront from EA came out before that.
Oh yeah.
And like in GTA, like I changed my car's license plate to SWBF 2015.
That was also a big part because we all got that game right when it came out.
Everybody got it, yeah.
Yeah.
So we were playing that all the way up till Force Awakens.
Which built up the hype a little bit.
It built up the hype a lot.
And then they released Jakku, which was a pretty cool map from the Force Awakens. But initial reactions after the movie, yeah, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was clapping the whole movie, you know? Every time a new character or old character came on screen, everybody would clap. I was clapping right there with them, you know?
That's one of the things I loved. Both nights, the premiere. I think the premiere might maybe a little bit more than the opening night, but they were both pretty spot on. As soon as the movie started clapping, as soon as the Millennium Falcon came on, as soon as Han came on, as soon as Luke,
the garbage will do.
Like everyone's clapping. As soon as the movie ends, people are standing up and clapping. Like I love that. It was just, and especially and this is our first time going to see a Star Wars movie in the theater.
In theaters, yeah.
So it was
besides Clone Wars, but I don't remember really if I saw that. I don't even think I did.
I
honestly.
did, but like
that doesn't count.
It
it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So the hype was just.
It was an
real.
experience.
Yeah, the experience was crazy. It was awesome.
The experience is a big reason why The Force Awakens is my favorite Star Wars movie. Is because I have such good memories of that night, and then I saw it 2 more times in theaters after that, and it was just.
Yeah, then I saw it 4 other times.
Yeah.
In theaters.
It's just, it was such a good time for Star Wars and to be a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Everybody was pretty much on the same page too. Yeah. That they liked it. We'll get into that a little bit more with the other 2 movies, but
I mean, yeah, audience and critics reviews, they were like both positive, both up there.
The only thing that people really had an issue with, and I don't even think it's that big of a deal, is that story structure wise, it was very similar to A New Hope.
Yeah, that was probably the main issue.
You have your loner young person on a desert planet discovers that they have the Force and then goes and blows up a Death Star, basically.
Yep. A big Death Star.
A big Death Star. This is the Death Star, and this is Starkiller Base. They were just making sure we knew how big it was.
Yeah.
I didn't have an issue with it because I still think that The Force Awakens purpose was to ease people back into Star Wars.
No, I agree.
Give them something that they're familiar with, and then you can go from there.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, because that was, I would assume, was probably the main reason why they even had old cast in that movie, so they could ease people in. Like, hey, you know these characters, you love these characters for years. We're bringing them back with some new characters. I feel like that was definitely the reason why they were in the movie, and starting off a new Star Wars sequel, I feel like it would have been really difficult if you didn't have some characters that we loved in it.
No, for sure. You gotta make those connections, connect the new and the old, and by having the old characters in it and continuing their story, that's how you do it.
Yeah. So that question that you asked me earlier, what were you expecting to come out of the movie? Were you expecting anything, or
like story-wise?
Just in general, I guess.
Not really. I went into it very open-minded.
Yeah, so did I.
I mean, I had some assumptions based off like the trailer and stuff, but I feel like it did a good job at I don't know where I'm going with this. Sometimes I start saying things and I don't know how to finish.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Most of it was just like the experience of the movie.
I will tell you what, I was not. The trailers and stuff, they made Finn to seem like he was going to be the Jedi. Do you remember that? Because they only showed him with the lightsaber and stuff. So when they, once Rey pulled that lightsaber out of the snow, that was a twist.
Yeah, that is true. And I remember one of the things watching the movie. I don't remember opening day as much, probably premiere night because that was the first time seeing it. I literally had goosebumps the entire movie.
Oh no!
Like
I think I did too.
My stomach was like, I had like butterflies in my stomach the entire movie and stuff, and like not even just the part when Han Solo died, just like seeing other characters come on screen like teared me up too. Like it was really emotional going to see this.
It was for sure. Okay, let's talk about what The Force Awakens did, like setup wise, and like characters they gave us and stuff. So we start off the movie with Finn. Actually, no, that's a lie. We start out with Poe.
Yeah.
And so what we get from him is, he just seems kind of like your average, rebel fighter. I don't think there was anything really special about him at the beginning.
No.
It's just that he had this droid, and he had a map to Luke Skywalker, and then he gets captured by the First Order. And then we see Finn, who at the Battle of Jakku not the Battle of Jakku, that was the big fight with the Empire.
Yeah.
The raid on the village on Jakku. He doesn't follow orders because he doesn't want to kill anybody, which is funny because once he decides to turn on the First Order, he kills crazy.
A lot of people.
Kills people he grew up training with probably.
Yeah.
And then we got Rey, the loner scavenger who's just surviving day to day, doing whatever she can to survive. And then we get Kylo Ren, the big baddie.
The big baddie.
And from initially, in the first part of the movie, he's kind of menacing and serious and stuff.
No, he
kills Lor Santeca, and then he orders the stormtroopers to kill the rest of the villagers. So you're like, oh, dang, dude, don't mess with this
Bad guy. Yeah.
And then he throws some temper tantrums a little bit later, and then a lot of people had problems with that.
A lot of people.
I don't, and I said it before, and I'll say it again, because it shows him that he's not the all menacing bad guy like so many others are. He's got issues and emotions that get in his head and that make him act different, and he's a complex character. He's not just one-dimensional, like full dark side.
Oh, I completely agree with you. I liked how he did that because, especially with like Vader, he's just dark side.
He's dark side.
That's it. There's nothing else to it. Which, I mean, I love Vader. Vader's probably one of my favorite.
Oh yeah,
Sith.
Everybody loves Vader. Yeah,
but I love how Kylo Ren does that though. It's exactly what you just said.
He's different.
Yeah, he's different.
So I didn't have a problem with it at all. And then we get Captain Phasma, who they marketed to be.
They marketed Captain Phasma. I remember that. The merchandise was crazy with Captain Phasma. I remember Captain Phasma on everything, like birthday napkins, balloons. I was like, okay, she's clearly going to be a big character. And then we get the movie, and she's in it for like 5 seconds. And then you think she dies.
The new Boba Fett.
Yeah, basically.
A cool-looking character that gets no screen time. Where do we go from here?
So The Force Awakens set up the story.
Yeah.
So the things from the story.
I wanted to do, as we go through this, I want to talk about like our favorite parts of each movie.
Yeah.
What we liked, what we didn't like. My favorite part from The Force Awakens is the lightsaber battle on Starkiller Base. Ow.
Kevin's playing with his Legos.
Yeah.
For you guys listening.
It's the Starkiller Base battle, dude.
No,
That's what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
Because I thought it was a good fight. Okay, first of all, something I don't like about the movie is how the heck did Kylo Ren get out to that forest that fast before that?
I don't.
Does he got like an underground tunnel or something that he went through?
Sense. It really doesn't.
Because I mean, he's mortally wounded too. Like he's hurt bad. He's not.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, it was a good fight. Because it's trying to think. Okay, so it's Rey and Kylo confront him, and then Kylo's mad and angry, and then he throws Rey against the tree, knocks her out for a bit, and then fights Finn, who Finn actually kind of knows how to put up a fight, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he was trained.
He held his own
Yeah.
in that, which a lot of people have a problem with. Well, Kylo Ren's, like, supposed to be a bad guy. Like, he should have just easily been able to destroy them. But, like, what they don't realize is he just got shot with a bowcaster.
He did just get shot. Yeah.
Multiple times earlier in the film. You saw what the bowcaster does to people.
Honestly, it's insane that he didn't even die from that bowcaster.
Mm-hmm.
Because that bowcaster, when Chewie shot it and when Han shot it a couple times, people went literally 10 feet behind them.
It's insane.
Like, it's insane.
A little OP, I'd say.
Oh, definitely.
So that's why Kylo didn't just instantly destroy them, is because he's hurt bad.
Yeah, he's
he was
badly
hurt
wounded.
really bad.
And I mean, Finn did have some training,
Mm-hmm.
so he kind of could hold himself up.
And then eventually he gets his back sliced up, and then Kylo's trying to pull the lightsaber out of the snow with the Force, and then it goes flying past his head and into Rey's hand. And then she puts up a good fight, showing some dark side tendencies. That's a new thing.
That's true.
That's our pod racing, where that's our 6 years old bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you look, because I saw a breakdown analysis on YouTube, she does the jabbing motion with the lightsaber like Palpatine did, because he was the only one we've seen do that. And she also grits her teeth when she does that, like Palpatine did.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it was there since the beginning.
But we didn't know this.
We didn't know this.
We just knew that, oh, wow, look.
She's strong with the Force.
She's Mary Sue.
I never thought that.
I feel like most people thought that.
Yeah.
When the movie came. I mean, I did, but I didn't. You know, I was a little, not annoyed, but a little like, okay, she has no training. She just
But she does. She knows how to fight, though, because on Jakku, you saw her beat up those.
And I mean, having the lightsaber and the staff aren't that different.
Yeah.
So.
No, I never had a problem with it.
I just know a lot of people did.
A lot of people
like, all right, she's a Mary Sue. Why is she so powerful? She should not be doing this.
Mm-hmm. So then she eventually beats Kylo, and then that's the end of that. What I love about that fight the most out of anything is just the way it looks. The dark forest with the blue and red lightsabers and the color contrast between the two.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a beautiful scene.
No, yeah, cinematically, it was really nice.
Gorgeous. So that's my thoughts on that. What was your favorite bit of The Force Awakens?
It's kind of tied between two. One,
but they both have to do with Han Solo.
Yeah, definitely. One being when Han and Chewie first enter the Falcon, and just that whole part of them talking with Rey, and the map comes up, and he's like, "It's real, all of it," you know, and like this like little comedy, like you can understand that thing, like yeah, that thing can understand you, you know, all that. I love that whole scene. But I also really like when we first go to Takodana and we meet Maz, because I love Maz so much. So I love all that part, and just Maz's interactions and how she takes off. I don't think she takes off. I think she like zooms in on her thing and she like crawls across the table and looks Finn in the eyes, you know.
Solo, what's she doing?
Yeah. and I mean, even with that scene when Rey goes down into the basement and she picks up the lightsaber, Luke's lightsaber, I love that part too.
I do, yeah.
I love basically the entire Maz's castle. I love that whole little scene.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't decide which one's probably. I mean, probably when Han and Chewie first enter the Falcon. Because I mean, Chewie, we're home. Like,
you remember that in the teaser trailer?
Yeah,
dude?
I remember. Yeah, how can I not, dude? I was crying.
Yeah,
like, like the first couple of times I watched that, I was like seriously tearing up and like goosebumps like crazy.
Yeah,
that's probably my favorite.
Okay.
And then story wise with this movie, this sets up the story, and so we have all the characters are kind of established now, and we don't super know where the direction is going. We meet Snoke, so he's we assume, okay, this is like the big bad guy. And a lot of people, I remember talking to people when the movie came out, because I kind of thought this at first too. When you first see Snoke, you're like, what? All right, we have this literally giant bad guy, but then like turns to a hologram. Remember that?
I do.
Yeah, I remember a lot of people were like, what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
But then it goes to the hologram. And so, I mean, this is kind of the setup of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And we get our characters kind of established. And from the ending of Force Awakens, it doesn't really...
Oh,
well, I mean,
dude.
the ending, we finally see Luke.
We're going to talk about that because that was such a good way to set up the next movie. And then we all know what happened with the next movie. We'll get into that.
So besides that part, nothing else really sets anything up besides establishing characters and all that. And Starkiller Base blows up.
It was a fun movie.
It was a fun movie and a fun adventure.
Yeah.
So then we get to Act 2, finally. And before we even get to that, I just want to talk about how when they came back to Dakar, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, the Resistance Base. Yep.
Chewie
just
walks past Leia even
after Han
died. And
it's like...
I don't know. That just irritates me.
Yeah, it does. It irks.
A lot. Yeah.
Irks me.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, so we go to Act 2, and we have Rey. Act 2. We have Rey trying to find Luke. Mm-hmm. And then Luke's there for 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. Takes his hood off.
Minute 17.
A minute
seconds
17
of screen time. I think, if I remember that correctly.
And then Rey hands out the lightsaber. And then
it ends.
Literally on a cliffhanger.
Because they're on a cliff. Before we get to The Last Jedi, I want to...
Yeah.
Were there anything you disliked about The Force Awakens? Because I want to talk about likes and dislikes of each film.
Dislikes initially when I first saw it. Well, I mean, clearly I don't like Han dying. How he died, I'm okay with. Because he was trying to save his son and bring his son back. So I was okay how he died. I think it was an honorable death. I don't like how there's no... I don't know what the word is, but nobody's like really grieving him. Nope. You know, there's nothing. When Darth Vader died, he had a way bigger thing. I mean, not when he actually died, but then they had him on fire and burned him. Like he had a whole thing, and Han had nothing. You had one scene where Chewie and Leia are sad before BB-8 comes in or whatever with the map, but that was it. I really don't like that, and it's never mentioned at all. And when we get to Last Jedi, I'll mention that too. But why, dude? You can't just kill off a main character that we've loved since like 1983,
77.
Yeah, I was thinking of the
last
Return
one.
of the Jedi. Yeah, and then just
not acknowledge.
Yeah, nobody like really cares.
Yeah,
like I understand you can't, be super, oh my gosh, we got to make this entire funeral
but
thing.
They should have done something.
They should have done something.
They literally don't do
nothing.
anything.
There's actually nothing.
It's horrible.
It's terrible.
How dare they?
How dare they?
As much as I love that movie.
JJ,
how dare they?
What was your thought process? How can you just kill off Han and then not do anything about it? Why, JJ? I'm looking at you, JJ. Why?
What are you doing, dude? Like, seriously, come on.
I don't understand. I mean, besides that, I don't know. There's not a whole lot I really dislike about this movie. I mean, initially, I don't think I really liked how strong Rey was, but it not nearly as much as other people. Like, it didn't really bother me. It was mainly Han dying and nothing being done about it. And that was the other thing. Starkiller Base blowing up. I feel like they could have just disabled it or something, especially when like, here's the Death Star, here's Starkiller Base. Why do we have to blow it up? This could be like a thing throughout the whole movies. But they didn't do that. So
it's whatever. It is what it is.
What about you? What did you dislike?
There's not a lot. And it's really hard for me to think of something I do dislike about the movie. First thing that comes to mind, some of the dialogue is a little cringe.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, there's some really cringy dialogue,
especially
forced comedy.
In the scene, I thought the comedy in this one was fine. There were a couple things that were forced, but a lot of it was funny, I thought.
I don't know. I don't like BB-8's flame thumbs up thing.
Thumbs up? Dude, that's a classic,
I know, everybody loves that, but I just...
That's going to be an emote
I know.
When they bring him in Battlefront. It was confirmed.
Yeah, so for you guys who don't play Battlefront 2, there's an update coming out with BB-8 as a hero, and then BD whatever.
BB-90.
Yeah, the dark side version.
BB-8.
And it's terrible, but whatever.
Yeah, dude. Like, as much of a sequel fan I am, why would you add them over
you're going to have
anybody
Darth
else?
Vader running around with Han and Luke and Rey, and then BB-8 just rolling around, and BB-8's going to go kill
the Emperor.
Like, seriously? This is seriously what's going to happen. But, sorry, we're not talking about that.
If you don't thumbs up on everybody after you kill them while playing as BB-8, you're playing BB-8 wrong.
Okay, I honestly, when I initially saw that scene, I thought that he was giving the finger to Finn. I don't know why. That's what I initially thought. Like,
but then Finn literally gave him the thumbs up before, and he was doing it back. Okay, then whatever. I mean, a lot of the dialogue was funny though.
I mean, no, yeah, there was funny parts for sure.
I mean, the only like, oh, I just booped my mic. The only bad like dialogue I can think of is I didn't really like Finn and Poe when they were escaping from the
that whole
Star Destroyer
scene is really cringy.
I didn't like it.
Like, it's cool established in Finn having a name, I guess.
They could have done it in a better way. They could have done it
better and just like, I understand Finn's probably not a pilot. He probably wasn't really trained in it, but it's just the whole thing. It's cringy.
Other than that, though, I mean, you know how much I love that movie.
I mean, it's your favorite Star Wars movie.
It's my favorite movie.
Favorite movie.
Mm-hmm. So I don't have much to say bad about it.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. I mean, if I had to say bad stuff about New Hope, I don't even know what I'd talk about. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does that wrap up TFA?
I think so.
Okay. So fast forward 2 years. It's 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in between then we got Rogue One, but we're not going to talk about this episode.
But so one thing before we even start talking about it is I just want to talk about the trailers a little bit, like the trailer hype. And with The Last Jedi, I mean, I honestly don't really remember. Like, it wasn't that memorable.
No, I remember the music. It was like the dun, 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 dun. That's all I remember.
I honestly don't remember. Like, it didn't stick with me at all, like The Force Awakens, especially because we just saw Force Awakens, we just had Rogue One, and now we're having The Last Jedi. So we haven't had a breather. So it's like, oh, Star Wars. We
haven't had a breather since. Every year since The Force Awakens came out, we've gotten a Star Wars movie.
And if we haven't got a Star Wars movie, we're getting shows, but we get shows with our constant Star Wars. But the trailer.
Well, the trailer was nowhere near as good as memorable. The Force Awakens one. But there was still hype.
No, for sure.
Leaving it on that cliffhanger was a great way to end it and to set up this next one.
Yeah, I remember when they were filming it, they released like a picture or something of them on Octu, and like just like that camera's all like on the island or whatever, and like that got me hyped a bit. And also, I mean, we definitely need to mention that JJ's not directing this one anymore. Now Rian Johnson's directing it, which originally that was the plan, was have JJ direct this, Rian Johnson, and Colin Trevorrow. But so now we have Rian Johnson directing this, which he has.
And we'll get into that in the biggest mistake of the sequels. Poor planning, bad. Should have had one writer.
You should have had one writer.
Would have made everything better, but we'll talk about that later, probably.
So let's talk about the experience of seeing The Last Jedi.
Yes.
I honestly don't really remember.
I do.
It that much.
You weren't there with us.
No, I was not. I was with Chloe.
Yeah. The boys went to B-dubs beforehand. I had to work the next day in the morning. I remember that, so I was super stressed out about that all night. I didn't want to be out too late, but it's whatever. We went to B-dubs. We were in the vibe, jamming some vibe. Duel of the Fates, Star Wars music. It was a good lead up to the film. But then Star Wars popped up on screen, and it said a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And then the next 2.5 hours were just... it was something, man. It was something. I remember when the movie ended, because usually, initially the first time you see something, you're going to think it's good no matter what. I was just like, well, that was something.
See, I initially liked it at first. I had that initial.
Yeah,
it was good.
I didn't. And the biggest reason why is I think that 2/3 of the movie was just pointless. I think Poe's storyline in this movie was pointless. I think Finn and Rose's storyline in this movie was important. I hated Rose. I hated her. She was worse than Jar Jar to me, honestly.
Hate Rose.
And it's nothing against Kelly Marie Tran, the actress.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it was a horribly written character who was annoying and who didn't need to be there. Why? Okay, like, I get it that he had to go on this side adventure. Why would you not team up Finn and Poe for that? That would have been so much better.
I don't.
Anyway, the only parts of this movie I did like were with Rey and Kylo and Luke. And I don't know where I'm going with this.
You didn't love it, but you liked it.
I didn't love it. I didn't love it as much as I did in The Force Awakens. I did like it, though. I like how it showed there was more than just, there was connection between these two characters. And then, but we didn't even get into Luke yet, though. Okay, then that's
gonna be a whole section.
This is when that. Do you want to get into that now? Or do you want to give your initial thoughts?
I'll give my initial thoughts first. When I initially saw it, I mean, it was definitely not nearly as hype as going to The Force Awakens. I don't think anything could beat that. Well, for you, that's different. We'll talk about that later. But at least for me, nothing will ever beat the hype of going to Force Awakens. But initially, I liked it when it first ended. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that was good. But yeah, I agree with you. I didn't like the Rose and Finn sequence. I liked what they were going kind of with it, and with that I mean seeing other planets. Like, I liked seeing the casino. I'm like, oh yeah, we have all these other alien stuff. I like that part of it, but the story itself was just not needed. And when I thought that was also going to be, we're going to see Lando. This is when Lando's going to come into play, and he didn't, and I was pretty disappointed with that. And then, they released animals and didn't free the kid slaves and all that weird stuff. But I really like the Kylo Ren and Luke. I honestly really like that part. Initially and still now. I like it more than I did initially.
I do too, but we can get into that a little later.
I liked the holo maneuver initially. I probably still like it now. I know a lot of people thought, wow, that was really stupid.
It shouldn't have been her.
No, I agree. I think that it should have been Admiral Akbar
instead of killing him off screen.
That would have been every.
Dare you?
Yeah, honestly,
Ryan
how dare
Johnson.
You don't even mention you. It's just a side thing. Oh, Admiral Akbar.
Yeah,
died.
Admiral Akbar was on the bridge. Leia was the only one that survived.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then Leia pulling a Mary Poppins in space.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I mean, especially when we haven't seen Leia use the Force before.
No, that's my problem with it. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because we didn't. I mean, I guess we could have assumed that Leia had Force training after Return of the Jedi, but we've never seen it. So, like, how are we supposed to know? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, she just pulls this Force thing in space when she obviously should have been dead. I hated it. Yep, I still do.
I didn't mind Leia having Force ability. That's like, okay, yeah, it makes sense.
I know. Yeah, I have no problem.
Well, I'm talking initially. Was that how you thought initially, though?
Initially, I hated it.
Yeah, like did you hate that she had Force powers?
No, because I mean, we knew she had Force powers.
Yeah,
she's a Skywalker.
So no, yeah, initially, I mean, how that scene was made, no, I thought it was terrible. When she's going like this and she's like Superman, Mary Poppins flying through the sky, but I mean, you can also look at her face and she's like dying. It's all getting crystallized because you're out in space, and then she goes like this. So yeah, how it was executed? No, it was very poorly. But I didn't have any issue with her actually doing it. But that was my initial thought, and that's how I still feel.
I mean,
I think what Ryan Johnson was trying to go for was, we haven't seen Leia really use the Force. I mean, yes, kind of in the
it should have been trilogy. More subtle.
Probably.
That was.
I think he was trying to go for the bam, over the top. She's got the Force, but yeah, just how it was executed was very poorly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know.
So yeah,
where are we going from here?
That was the experience we both had.
Okay.
And then we can talk about, since, the critics' reviews
Loved it.
Loved it. It was like
because it subverted their
90
expectations.
yeah, that's
and
what
that's
everyone was
what
saying.
Ryan Johnson was going for. But the
and
fans,
then the fans, it was way down here. And then most people you talk to, they do not like The Last Jedi. Most people you talk to hate The Last Jedi. They say it's like the worst Star Wars movie that's come out.
that was me until
that was you for a
couple
while.
weeks ago.
Like when I initially saw it, I liked it, and then I was talking to people. I didn't even see it another time in theater. I only saw it once.
I saw it twice.
And I started talking to people. I started thinking about it more, and then I didn't like it compared to like Force Awakens or whatever. But
I mean, I still don't like it, but I don't hate it as much as I did, mostly because of Rex and Around when they had Kim Yon talking about Ben Solo and how.
Yeah, if for you guys, especially you guys who don't like The Last Jedi, I would honestly really recommend go watching the Rex and Around episode where I think it's the one to talk about Kylo Ren.
Yeah, it's the Kylo Ren Ben Solo.
Kylo Ren Ben Solo one. I think it's like the tragedy of Ben Solo or something. I think that's what the title's
called. It was from a couple weeks ago. It's not. You don't have to go that far back to find it. But I would really go
recommend watching that because
it was a great podcast.
First of all, it's a great podcast. Their episode. Second of all,
they get really deep.
They get really deep,
thoughtful about it,
and even for like someone like Kevin,
it made me appreciate it more.
Yeah, he hated The Last Jedi, and now you appreciate it.
It's not my least favorite Star Wars movie.
So,
anymore.
Especially for people that don't like The Last Jedi, I would really recommend go seeing that episode. Just so, I mean, I'm not trying to go get you to like The Last Jedi. Like, if you like it or you don't, you don't love everything about Star Wars. You don't have to love The Last Jedi, but open mind kind of thing. But then now let's kind of get into, since a lot of people had a lot of problems with this movie, especially you, and I also had problems. Let's get into some of the stuff that we didn't like about it. We've already started to, so
biggest problem.
What?
Do it. Be Luke.
Be Luke?
Yeah.
Oh.
What the heck, man? Okay, let's just take a minute here and talk about this. Okay, so yeah, Luke's in exile, whatever, dude. But then this girl shows up with his freaking lightsaber. That was his father's before his, the one that he was using when he got his hand chopped off by his dad.
He hasn't seen this in years.
It's a huge part of his life. And then he just looks at it and just throws it over his shoulder. Ha ha ha. Dude, what the actual F word, man? Like, seriously.
No.
Like, okay, listen. Okay, I get it, right? He's in exile. He doesn't want anything to do with Jedi anymore because he feels like he failed and he got his whole camp destroyed and everybody turned against him. But that's like, dude, that is such a big part of your life. And after not seeing it in that many years, and you just look at it and you just throw it over your shoulder like it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Dude, what the heck, bro?
No, I completely agree with you.
Dude.
I completely agree. It doesn't. You can't do that. It was Ryan Johnson trying to get a laugh, but literally nobody laughed. Everyone in the theater was like, "What the heck did I just watch?" Like you could feel the room, and everyone was like, okay." That was terrible. That starting off the movie. That was terrible.
That's my biggest problem with the whole movie. I have more of a problem with that than I do Rose.
And
that's saying something.
Because the movie starts off with the fight, right? Ship battle.
Yeah, they start off in space.
And that's one of the issues I have with the movie and how it starts off. It's immediately comedy. It goes straight to Poe.
It's about your mother.
Hux.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like, I don't know, Aladdin or,
I'm sorry, water went down the wrong way.
I'll wait till you finish yourself. But this isn't some Disney movie. This isn't Pirates of the Caribbean. This is Star Wars. There's not comedy like that in Star Wars. There's always been comedy in Star Wars, but nothing on a level like that. Nobody's prank calling.
I'm okay.
No one's prank calling their enemies to try and distract them. Like, especially how you made Hux to be out in the Force Awakens. You made him to be out. He's like a big figure. Mm-hmm. He's bad guy kind of thing, and then you immediately go to him being like stupid. Like, what was the point of that? That was I hated that. And that's how we start the movie.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, wow. Okay.
And then
This is great.
Poe is like, oh, let's take out their dreadnought. Let's take out this one ship. Like, that's going to make a difference. And get our whole bombing
And
fleet
then,
killed in the
like,
process.
everybody dies.
Which that part is, I don't know how I feel about that. Because, I mean, it shows Poe to be this, like, wild,
reckless
flyboy,
Mm-hmm.
which they say that in the movie several times.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's the vibe he gave off in The Force Awakens.
No, I feel like with The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson really changed every character
He really did.
to how he wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm. And then JJ changed it back.
And then they
with the
changed it
Rileys.
back.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
With, but yeah, so I don't know how I felt about Poe in that one. I mean, like, I get like why Leia's like mad at him and stuff, but like, I don't know if they should have made that such a big part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the whole. Because with The Last Jedi, you have basically 3 storylines. You got Leia and Poe and Holdo, Finn and Rose, and Rey and Kylo and Luke.
Yeah.
And I guess. Oh my god, dude! That water like actually almost killed me, man. I guess you want to make them equal and like screen time and stuff, but I mean, I feel like the only important storyline was Rey and Kylo.
No, for sure. That was the only one that was really important. Yeah, and actually had like progression through character development and all that. Everything else was just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And like one of the things I want to talk about with that is with Poe, Holdo, what purple hair girl,
Mm-hmm.
and
Laura Dern.
and Leia. Watching it the second time, I understand where they're going, where they're coming from, and what Rian Johnson was trying to do. How they did it though, especially in the time we're growing up in, how movies are and how movies are changing, it is very, we need this political statement of like feminism, and which I'm okay with having lead characters be women.
Mm-hmm.
I have no issue with it. Like, I love how Rey's like the main character. I love how we, we get that female perspective and stuff, but how you went about it was terrible.
It felt
like,
very forced.
Yeah, it was very forced.
Rey didn't feel forced.
No, Rey didn't.
Which is why I think she's such a good main character. Holdo.
But Holdo felt very forced. And like
Very
the
forced.
stuff that she kind of said and how she acted was just, had that, kind of vibe to it. But I understand after watching it, because I've only seen it 2 times fully through.
Mm-hmm.
Because I watched it the second time before we went and saw Rise of Skywalker. And I understand where both of them were going with, like, how Rian Johnson was trying to do it. How, oh, Poe, you're reckless. You're the fly boy. And you lost, like, a ton of troops and stuff. So I'm not going to, like, tell you the plans, which I think is stupid, but I kind of understand where they were trying to go with it a bit now,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't agree that doesn't make any sense. The entire fleet is like waiting for her command because she's in charge now because Leia's unconscious, and she's just like, I'm not gonna tell anybody, and gives a lot of people killed because of it. And then when everybody's dying, she's just staring in the ship and she's like, oh man, everyone's dying. Oh, maybe now I should turn around and go run into the Star Destroyer after I've seen, like, at least 10, 15 ships blow up.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand a bit more on what they're trying to go with, but I still don't really like the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at least with that part.
You want to know another part of The Last Jedi that I hate very much? There's not a proper lightsaber fight in this one.
Yeah, there isn't. No lightsaber fighting.
There's the only contact between lightsabers in this movie is the flashbacks when Kylo, Ben at the time,
Ben and Luke.
pulls the building down on Luke. That's the
There's been a lightsaber battle in every single Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Skywalker saga.
You can argue that the Force projection Luke is the lightsaber battle in this one, but I don't say it is because the lightsabers don't come in contact.
No, they don't. I agree with you.
which I really didn't like that the first time I saw it, like the fight. Well, I mean, I guess I was fine with it. Well, I watched like a analysis, like a breakdown video of it, which made me appreciate it a lot more. But I was just really upset that we didn't get a proper lightsaber fight in that one. But the throne room fight,
that was a good fight.
yeah,
I think most people like that fight.
Continuity and choreography errors aside, I enjoyed it quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a really cool fight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody was really I mean, maybe. I mean, you knew that Kylo had conflict in him and that he was, kind of getting pulled to the light, but like, I think that scene when he killed Snoke and then him and Rey teamed up was so good. And my favorite scene in the whole movie was right after everybody's dead, all the guards, and then Rey's like, order them to stop firing. There's still time to save the fleet. And then they have that little interaction when they talk to each other. That's my favorite scene of the movie. Just because I love Rey and Kylo and their connection and stuff. And that scene just kind of like, it was a good scene.
I think my favorite scene is probably when Luke is drinking the
Oh, God.
No, I'm kidding. That was so unnecessary and really disgusting and kind of disturbing. Like, why did you add that?
That was nasty, man.
And it's dripping down his
beard. It was gross.
Okay. Let's talk about... I don't want to get, like, too crazy into Rose and Finn, but let's talk about that whole sequence a bit. I'll let you start.
You can take that whole story out of the movie and it still makes sense. Not necessary.
No, yeah, I agree. You could. Is that it?
I mean, I don't have much to say other than that.
For me, I kind of said this earlier. I liked it in the sense of them showing the casino world and showing all this new stuff and having... oh, hey, people, you'll get rich because they're, what was it? Like selling parts to the First Order.
Yeah.
But then you also had people also selling parts to the Resistance, So it was like this blurred lines and stuff. So I understand what they were trying to do. I get it. I don't like how the guy wasn't Lando, like I said. And it also is weird, like there's the guy with the little flower pendulum, whatever, and then we get put in jail. But look, this guy seems like he's the guy anyways. Basically, he can do everything that guy did. I don't even know if that... honestly, how I took that scene was the guy they met in jail was the guy they were supposed to find, and the guy that had the lapel took it from that guy. That's how I took it. I don't know.
I don't.
We don't know though, because we never met that guy.
Yeah.
So, but. No, the whole scene was kind of And then you're trying to introduce the kids and show that there's other people have the Force, which I'm okay with, but at the same time...
Oops, sorry, I don't know. Hit my mic. I had this problem when I first saw it because I remember talking about it to people in high school. The thing with that whole sequence... my battery is running low. My computer is plugged in. How is my battery running low? Is that outlet not working?
Did you plug into the outlet that's the one that's not the outlet supposed to be on?
I don't know. Okay. Well, this is a problem because if my computer dies, that's the end of the podcast.
You go fix that.
Talk about something.
I will talk about something. I don't know where you were going to start going.
I know where I'm going with it. Just give me a second.
Okay. I'll just...
It was about the... Okay, we're charging now.
All right, we're charging. It was about the broom, I'm assuming, right?
No, it was not about the broom. It was about the whole Canto Bite thing. To me, and I had this conversation in high school with people, that is just political nonsense in the Star Wars movie that doesn't need to be there. Because here's the thing. The message, I think, that they were trying to get at...
Capitalism's bad.
Yeah, well... It's like the rich get richer, and the whole animal abuse, animal cruelty
very
thing.
Political.
So political.
And who's making this movie?
Disney.
And they're trying to teach us how capitalism is bad? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because you don't own literally everything.
Yeah. It was funny. In my film class on Thursday, we were... I don't remember what we were talking about, but it was something about Disney and how they like own the world.
I mean,
And
they do.
They're like evil.
They
Yeah.
are. They're the evil corporation that owns everything, dude. Like, come on.
Uh-huh. Because it was funny because we're talking about all these different film studios and stuff, and every time they'd come up in the PowerPoint, the professor would go, "Oh, Disney bought them. Oh, Disney just bought them." It's
Yeah.
like they're monopolizing the film industry.
No, when they are. Like, when we talked about Disney buying Star Wars and how much it was, I looked at how much it was before the show started to make sure I had the right number. And Star Wars wasn't even the first one that comes up. You have Disney buying Fox, Disney buying whatever, buy, and then it goes to Star Wars, and it's like you literally own everything.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. No, I agree with you. Like, why?
It's political.
You're getting this is Star Wars. Star Wars has never been a political statement.
No.
Ever.
Mm-mm.
It's Star Wars. George Lucas made Star Wars to tell a story. He didn't care if people liked it. He wanted to make a story. Like, he said that when the prequels came out. When the prequels came out, he said, because a lot of people didn't like The Phantom Menace. And he said, I'm not making a movie to appease fans. I'm making a movie to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not how Disney takes it. But that's for a whole nother episode.
Yeah, let's not get into that right now.
So let's talk about Rey, Luke, and Kylo now.
Okay.
What everybody probably says the best parts of the movie, which I agree.
I did not like Luke at all first time. For a long time after seeing this movie. It wasn't until recently when my thoughts have kind of changed on the matter. You're the symbol of hope and good and, you know, everything.
You're the chosen one, basically.
I mean, no, but
yes.
Anakin's the chosen one. I mean, he's the symbol of good.
Yeah.
And to just run away from all your problems and be a little hermit on this island by yourself, basically wanting to rot and die. That's not the Luke Skywalker we know. Which is why a lot of people had a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
And which is why I had a problem with it. But I do have to say it makes a little bit of sense if you just think about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because he feels solely responsible for the creation of Kylo Ren. And he feels, oh, well, this was my fault, and the Jedi are going to be over because of me. So I feel like I failed, and I have to just run away.
No, yeah, initially, I honestly thought it fit. I never really argue with anybody about it, because then I was like, oh, I don't really like Last Jedi that much, and everybody doesn't. So I just kind of bandwagoned it, I guess. But also, I mean, I didn't like it, you know. But initially, I thought, oh, yeah, it's okay, whatever. But now, especially after seeing the second time and reading stuff, listening to stuff, whatever, I honestly love how Luke is like that. I think it makes perfect sense to me. Because you just have a farm boy that wanted nothing to do with the war or anything. And he went and had to go have the entire galaxy on his shoulders and save the entire universe. And then he makes one mistake. And he's like, oh, crap, I just created Kylo Ren, like you said. Everybody I just tried to train is dead. The whole temple's burning. This is all my fault. I'm going to go away. And it's not like we haven't seen this before. Yoda did the exact same thing. Yoda was like the most powerful Jedi for ever. And he did the exact same thing. He went to Emperor. He was all cocky. He's like, yeah, I'm going to beat this guy. It's all going to be good. He doesn't. He leaves. What does he do? He goes to Dagobah for like a long time and just put himself in exile. So we've seen this before. It makes sense to me. Luke's always, that's one thing that I feel like people overlook is everyone complains about Anakin being this whiny little boy, but Luke is the exact same way. Not on the level Anakin is, but Luke is just a whiny farm boy at heart. I mean, in Return of the Jedi, yeah, he definitely has the more Jedi Knight prowess to him and all that. But to me, I think it makes sense. I mean, if Luke was different, I'd also probably argue the same way, you know, like, oh yeah, it makes sense. But what we got, I think it makes sense why he's like that.
It makes sense. I still don't know if I like it or not.
I think I like it for character development wise. because we're actually seeing something different,
Mm-hmm.
and I like new.
Yeah.
You know,
But hey, none of it matters because JJ retcons the whole thing.
Yeah, he kind of
in the Rise of Skywalker.
So, but then we have the whole sequence with them training and all that, and we get the bridge between Kylo and Rey, which I love.
The Force time. Force time calls.
The Force time calls. Yeah.
Force time.
Which I'm assuming you love that too.
Oh, absolutely.
The one thing Last Jedi did that I really like is introducing these new Force abilities.
Mm-hmm.
I love the bridge. That's so cool to me.
And another thing I loved, and this is not a Last Jedi thing, it's a Rey and Kylo thing, is like when they it's not an actual call, it's just like when they get connected,
Yeah.
Rey is pissed off.
Dark side tendencies.
Dude. Kylo's calm and cool and collected. And then, because there's the one when it's raining and she walks outside the Falcon and they get connected and she's just like, "You murderous snake!" And she's pissed. And then
she's immediately just starts yelling
Kylo's just like, "Why is the Force connecting us, you and I?" No, he says that before she says that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she's like, "You lost. I found Skywalker." And then he's just like, "Did he tell you what happened?" Like, he's so calm and
he
like,
is.
But she's mad.
She is
dark side
mad,
tendencies, dude.
She's mad. Yeah, and we don't know clearly that she's a Palpatine.
No.
At this point, but everything that she does from Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, she's not really like super. She's not a Jedi.
No.
She dips into both.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyways.
Yeah.
Man, I had a thought and now it just completely.
That was probably one of my favorite parts of.
Oh, and then we get to meet
the Force time.
We get to meet Ben Solo.
How could we not talk about that?
Ben Solo.
That's gonna go down as an iconic moment in cinema history, man.
Mm-hmm.
I will never forget the first time I was in theaters and I watched that, and he just turns around. He's so wide.
He's wide, dude.
He's a wide boy.
I don't. My guess is the reason why they did that is because George probably got some good feedback from doing that with Anakin,
Yeah.
So they were like, let's try and recreate that.
Take your shirt off.
But yeah, that was very unexpected. And everyone was like, "What?"
Instantly became a meme.
Oh, instantly!
It still is.
Oh my gosh, Ben Swallow.
2 years later, it's still a meme.
Mm-hmm.
A top tier meme, if you ask me.
No, it is a really good meme.
Iconic. Okay. Does that wrap up The Last Jedi?
I think so. Well, let's talk about the Force projection.
Oh yeah, we didn't even really touch on that.
A lot of people hated that. Or disliked it, at least.
I didn't have a problem with it because you want to know why? And like how Luke dies at the end of it, because the first time Rey and Kylo get on the force time, that's what I'm going to call it from now on. He's like, "You're not doing this. The effort would kill you," which is foreshadowing what happens with Luke at the end because the effort kills him. But I liked it, and I liked how. The first time I saw it, I thought he was actually there, but then But then I was like, wait, there's two things that are giving this away right now. That he's something's up with this. Is one, he didn't stop at Great Clips, flying
on
there.
The way there.
Yeah,
get a quick haircut.
There's no way he sat down for a quick walk-in appointment at Great Clips to get a fresh cut. Second of all, he had the Skywalker saber, and we literally saw that get destroyed in half before that, which is what I really like about, from a character standpoint in this situation, is Kylo is so close-minded and just angry and not thinking straight, really, because if he was the one that helped destroy the saber, he should have known that something's not right. But he was so focused. I mean, I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. Close-minded is probably the best way to describe it.
He was just so angry.
He was his judgment was clouded,
Mm-hmm.
and he couldn't focus, and he was just. So I really like that how he didn't notice that, because that's a character thing.
Yeah. Initially, I also thought that Luke was. Initially, I didn't even pick up on the blue lightsaber. I honestly,
Really?
I was just.
I
was like,
noticed
oh, cool, Luke's here. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about it. But it made sense to me. I was like, oh, well, we saw the X-Wing in the water. Like, he showed us that on purpose. So that the reason was probably so we could know how he got back. Because we clearly know that it works now.
Yeah.
But, so, oh, yeah, this is cool and whatnot. But I liked how they had this force projection in it because we have these new abilities. And also, it is mentioned in the ancient Jedi text, force projection. So it's not actually something new, but it is something new.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's definitely something from Legends, but
Mm-hmm. I didn't have a problem with it.
I didn't have a problem with either. I liked it.
Dude, and then also you can kind of tell because, and my dad noticed this right away, which I was very impressed with, because he noticed how when Kylo would like slide, he would drag the salt with him, but when Luke moved his feet, the salt wouldn't move.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you kind of knew.
See, that, honestly, I got to give it to Ryan Johnson.
Attention
though,
to
for that
detail
scene.
is
the
that,
attention to detail is crazy. Really
yeah,
good.
and cinematography wise, I thought the Battle of Crate was shot very nicely. The colors and contrast.
No, I agree. I don't like how we didn't get to see that more.
It was a very visually appealing movie.
It was. Oh, for
the
sure.
colors
The
and
visual
everything
effects were
with
really
the throne
nice.
room and crate, and yeah, no, it was good in that regards.
I think that got a nominee for visual effects
A
when it came
nomination?
out. A nomination, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it won, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it did.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I liked, and this is so random, I liked how we got to see Luke's green lightsaber again, even if just for a quick second, because that's a good looking lightsaber, man.
Mm-hmm. And we also got to, I like the whole flashback.
Mm-hmm. And we got to see
sequence.
Ben's saber before he modified it. I'm pretty sure it's the same one, because they sell it at Galaxy's Edge now, and if you look at it, it's basically the same as his crossguard saber, except it doesn't have the exhaust ports.
Mm-hmm.
So
and it's black now.
Yeah.
Was it black before? I don't think
No,
it
it was silver.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But it was still like unstable. I mean, I don't think the blade wasn't unstable, but it had the like exhaust heat on the top of it, which I thought was cool.
And then we also have the part when I don't remember exactly what happens, but Rey is basically threatening Luke, and Luke trips and he falls.
And he
Was
grabs
it fall on the
himself with the
stairs? But
Force.
he grabs himself on the Force and stuff. I liked how they showed that, because we're kind of getting more of those using the Force, like Force spills, like we had in the prequels, so like Force jumping and stuff like that.
There's something about this movie we need to talk about that's very important that we haven't touched on yet. Do you know what I'm going to say?
No.
Deleted scenes.
Oh yeah.
The deleted scenes of this movie should have been in the movie.
There are really good deleted scenes in this movie.
Before we get to the one you want to talk about, I'm going to talk about one first. When Phasma dies, oh God. Okay, first of all, I remember. I think I was sitting next to Connor when I saw this, and when Finn and Phasma were fighting, and Finn just yells, "Come on!" in the middle of the fight, dude. I remember Connor just cracking up. It was so funny. But anyway, Phasma's death scene in this movie was lame.
It was. It was terrible.
But her death scene in the deleted scene,
it was really
it
cool.
had substance and it had meaning.
It was a badass scene.
It would have been... Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen it, so basically what happens is it's Finn and Phasma facing each other down, but there's stormtroopers like surrounding them.
Her helmet's kind of broken too.
Yeah, her helmet's
you can
broken,
see her
so
eye.
you can see her eye. There's stormtroopers around them, and then they exchange some dialogue, and then Finn says something like how she was the one that lowered the reactor or whatever.
The shield
on
Starkiller
Starkiller Base, which is what allowed the Resistance to get in there and blow it up. And you see the stormtroopers like look at each other
and
and
start to raise their blasters.
They start to raise their blasters at Phasma, and I think that is so cool.
And then she goes.
It shows. I mean, obviously we've seen it with Finn, but it gives like personality and individualizes the stormtroopers a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're so used to them just being these faceless minions and stuff, but there's people under there.
Mm-hmm.
And once they realize that, oh, this person was responsible for the death of all my buddies on Starkiller Base, they were about to turn on her. And I just thought that was so cool. Why it didn't make it into the final movie and her stupid death scene did, I don't know. That's a Ryan Johnson problem.
But I mean, then what she does after,
I don't remember what she does.
she goes full Western mode. And she just takes her blaster and turns around and shoots all the stormtroopers dead. And then she dies after that. I don't know how. I think the scene cuts after that.
It was,
but it's like
such a good scene.
Why would you not have that? That is awesome. She goes like they actually make her cool. Like how they were trying to merchandise her as. Like I think you sent me the link to that deleted scene a while ago.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, this is awesome. Why is this not in here? Like she goes straight up full Western like cowboy mode and just kills all of them around her. Like, okay.
It shows Phasma and like her capabilities and stuff because we've never seen her do anything.
Yeah, she's supposed to be this big high official and rules over all these people, and she's supposed to be like a powerful trooper, but she just I don't know why they took that
huge missed opportunity.
And then the other day I saw a deleted scene of Luke grieving over Han's death. It's literally like 17 seconds long. It's like just very short. He's like at a table and he like force senses it, I think, or maybe Rey tells him. All it shows is Luke. But it's only 17 seconds. Why is this not in the movie? Like what I said with Force Awakens, how come we're not getting anything with Han's death? Like Luke and Han were such good buddies. It doesn't make any sense that Luke wouldn't grieve in any way, shape, or form. Like if you're trying to justify it with the fact that Luke probably force sensed it when it actually happened, so it didn't happen on screen. I could see that.
No, that doesn't. But when Chewie barges in the room, first of all, he doesn't even care. He's like, Chewie, what are you doing here?
He doesn't like care.
And then he's like, where's Han? So like, I don't think he knew.
No, yeah. I totally forgot about that scene. Yeah. So, that's probably what happened right after that scene.
Yeah.
It was Chewie probably like said something, and then Luke.
Why would you not put that in the movie?
It's literally 17 seconds. And you could even make it shorter if you want to do. It just...
There's another deleted scene too, because like I don't remember exactly, but there were like 3 like trials or like training things that Rey had to go through with Luke, but they only showed 2, and the third one is like the caretakers are like having a party or stuff, but like Luke tells her that it's like, oh, their village is getting raided or whatever. And she's like, gets mad and just impulsively just pulls out her lightsaber and starts charging over there and then busts down the door and everybody's just partying and having a good time. And they look over her and she's pissed, like ready to kill some people. Dark side tendencies. And then like, why would you not put that in the movie, man?
It doesn't make any sense. There was also a deleted scene where they explain more. They talk more about the ancient Jedi text. I don't know exactly what the dialogue is or anything, but there was supposed to be more with that because it's just brief mention. Like, oh, these are Jedi texts. That's it.
I did like seeing Force Ghost Yoda. That was a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
Initially, I thought it looked really CGI and fake.
It's a puppet.
But then, you told me it was a puppet.
I'm and like 90% sure.
And I was like, oh, that for some reason it just looks so off-putting for me.
But I liked how he lightninged the tree.
Yeah.
So that
was the first interaction really between the Force Ghost and the physical realm.
It shows that Force Ghost can interact with the physical world, which is important because somebody catches a lightsaber in the next movie. Okay, we'll get into that. Does that wrap up TLJ?
I think so.
I mean, we just spent quite some time talking.
Yeah, we did. And story-wise, when we got that,
the only thing this movie did story-wise, it showed the connection between Rey and Kylo. Showed there's something there between them, and it established Luke and what he's been up to all this time.
Yeah. Basically, that's about it. And the Resistance are like really defeated, and they don't have a lot of people.
I mean, there were a couple. Something I wanted to touch on real quick. Parts of this movie were very similar to other Star Wars movies. The throne room scene is basically a direct ripoff of the throne room scene from Return of the Jedi, because Snoke makes Rey look out the window and seeing all her friends die.
Don't worry, we'll see it again though. In Tross.
Oh yeah, right. And I mean, that's the same exact thing the Emperor did to Luke on the Death Star, made him look out the window and watch all his friends die. And the Battle of Crate was very similar to the Battle of Hoth, with the walkers and the rebels in the trenches. I think that's it. I mean, did we talk about Luke's death?
A little.
Okay, I don't think we need to go into
Yeah,
that.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
He died with
Like, he
the
died
Force
in
theme and the
Force.
twin sons, you know?
Yeah,
That's full circle.
it makes sense. Yeah, full circle.
Full circle.
All right,
Okay.
so now
So,
that movie's ended, and then we have
No. Before we get in the rest of Skywalker.
Yeah.
This is when the fan base was split.
Mm-hmm.
You either loved the movie or you hated it. There really wasn't an in-between. But what this movie did, I'd say it ruined the Star Wars community.
It did.
It absolutely destroyed the Star Wars community.
I mean, the Star Wars community was toxic before, but the toxicity that came out of this,
it made it
was
so much
insane.
worse. You
It's
can't
ridiculous.
voice a positive opinion about sequel Star Wars on anything without getting attacked. Because if I see something, like, I'll comment occasionally about how I like The Force Awakens, or how the sequels are probably my favorite trilogy, and I'll just get reply after reply of people telling me my opinion's wrong, or like I'm not a true Star Wars fan. And it's just, you can't have a positive opinion on Disney Star Wars, or you're not a true Star Wars fan.
which makes no sense.
It's so dumb.
And
The community is so toxic. Probably one of the worst communities, pop culture communities out there.
I would
far.
say it is the worst.
Oh.
I don't even know what's on the same playing field as this.
Okay,
honestly,
I would agree. It's definitely the
Like-
worst. We're just out here trying to be positive. You know?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is like a lot of the point of this show is we want to have that positive aspect in the Star Wars, because the negative voices are so loud and the positive ones get pushed aside because of all that negativity and toxicity. And I love the sequels too. We both really love the sequels. You love them way more than me, clearly, but we both really love the sequels. And we want to bring that out, because there's a lot of people that really love the sequels, but everyone is constantly like, "Oh, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this." And when you're constantly being told that you hate this, or you have the wrong opinion, you're not going to be like, "Oh, well, I like it." You know, you're going to be like, "Oh, I just want to talk."
I was hanging out at one of my clubs the other day, and in the room, I could hear people having a conversation about the sequels and how they were bad or whatever. And I really just wanted to get inject myself in that conversation and be like, well, actually, there's people that do like the sequels. Hi, I'm Kevin.
I am Kevin. Look at my sweater.
Yeah. But I mean, I hate how the community is, man.
It is so toxic.
It's so
but,
bad.
Okay, we're not saying you have to love the sequels.
No, there's things I don't like.
And
I mean, like we've said before, it's kind of like our thing, I guess, is you can love Star Wars, but like you don't have to love everything about. There's stuff I don't like about Star Wars. There's stuff you don't like about Star Wars.
Like, okay, I love pizza, but I don't like bacon on my pizza.
How dare you?
I know a lot of people.
How
Exactly,
dude? Did you say that just to get me mad? Because it worked.
Exactly. That's why I said that.
My
because
God.
a lot of people like bacon on their pizza.
Dude, you're not a real pizza fan. All right.
Dude, I don't know what.
If you don't like bacon on your pizza, you are not a real pizza fan. Get out of my apartment.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
That's exactly why I said that.
That's accurate representation of the Star Wars community.
That's what the Star Wars community is.
Yeah.
Oh, you like the sequels? Get out. You're not Star Wars. I just like.
Do you really
even
not
know.
like bacon on your pizza though?
I don't dislike it, but I'd prefer not to have it. Like, I'll eat it, but I was just using it as an example.
I love bacon on my pizza.
I know a lot of people love bacon.
You can't go wrong with the pepperoni bacon pizza, man.
I don't know. I prefer not to eat it, but if that's all I have, I'll eat it. But
That was a good little analogy there.
yeah, that's what That's the Star Wars community right there.
That's the Star Wars community in a nutshell. It sucks.
It does suck.
I mean, I'm not
it
going to
honestly
sugarcoat
sucks.
it.
Yeah,
it sucks.
it sucks. But yeah, again, that's why we made Live at the Cantina.
Positive.
We want to be positive. We want to talk about Star Wars. And we want to be positive about it. Yeah, we're going to have parts like how we talked about The Last Jedi, parts that we did not like. But that doesn't mean we don't love Star Wars.
Good vibes only on this podcast.
Yeah, good vibes. I mean, we're going to have parts where, like we don't like. We might even have an episode where we talk about things we don't like about Star Wars. But that doesn't mean we're trying to voice out like negativity.
Mm-hmm.
We really am trying to voice out that positivity about the community, you know.
Something that, oh dude, okay, on the topic of toxic fans, I see countless comments on stuff where people just say the Skywalker saga ended at episode 6. They don't even acknowledge the sequels as
there is a lot of people
Star Wars.
that, yeah.
If you're that close-minded and arrogant, you can't call yourself a Star Wars fan. I'm sorry, but you don't deserve to be.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't care. Okay, you can not like the movie. Fine, it's whatever. But if you're so close-minded and arrogant that you don't even consider them to be like part of Star Wars, that's horrible. You're a horrible person.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, 7, 8, 9, they're not canon."
No,
You know, it's like, dude, you can't. Like, yeah, there's stuff in there I wish wasn't canon, of course, but you can't just say you can't do that.
Yeah,
it doesn't make. Yeah, exactly. If you're seriously that close-minded and arrogant, that's ridiculous. Why are you doing that?
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to. Star Wars was made to have fun and enjoy a story. You know, it's an adventure. So just chill, dude. What are you getting out of that? But then we also have people in the community that talk about all the stuff they hate, like the sequels. Well, for example, oh, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. But they went and saw the movie. They went and saw the movie like 3 other times, and then they go home and play Star Wars games. But all they talk about is how much they hate Star Wars. And then you look at their Instagram, and they're posting Star Wars pictures. It's like, no, you can't do that. That doesn't make any sense. Are you a fan or are you not? You got to pick.
Yep.
Again, you don't have to like everything about Star Wars. If you don't like the sequels, it's okay. But don't be so
ignorant about it.
Yeah, crazy about it, or however you want to phrase it.
Yeah.
All right, so Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
So before Rise of Skywalker came out, we had Solo, which came out basically right after
It was only a couple months.
Last Jedi.
It's like 5 months. I
yeah,
think.
that was pretty soon. So again, we're not getting that break.
No.
So now the trailers come out, and we hear that JJ is directing Rise of Skywalker.
That made me happy.
Yes, I think a lot of people were happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
I was happy. Like, yeah, I'm glad JJ's back.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Force Awakens.
Yep.
He did a good job. I'm glad he's back.
Yeah. So JJ's back.
And now we're starting to get some teaser trailers.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to talk about that for a second. The amount of content we got before the movie even came out.
The marketing strategy before the movie. They were like
absolutely ridiculous.
They realized, well, people don't like us like we hoped they would. So we really got to remind them that, hey, we're releasing a movie and you should go see it. They were releasing whole scenes from the movie.
Yeah, the amount of TV spots they had, teasers, trailers. Yeah, I only watched the first teaser that came out with Rey jumping over the TIE fighter, and then the first trailer that came out. I think it was the first trailer or whatever, you know. But I refused to watch anything after that because they would take out whole scenes from the movie and put it like.
Yeah.
People are going to go see the movie or they're not. You putting these out are not going to convince people to go see the movie.
The marketing was ridiculous.
It was terrible.
So the first teaser for that was her jumping over the TIE Fighter. Which I remember. Do you remember when we first saw that? We were here. I was on that open house tour. We were in Lake Superior. I showed it to you on my phone.
Oh, yeah. We were at the open house. Yeah, I remember that.
So that was fun.
That was fun. Yeah. We just it came out, so we had to watch it then and
we
there.
Stepped outside to watch the Star Wars trailer. Rise of Skywalker. Hype was there for me. I know I'm crazy about definitely in the minority for people who were extremely hyped for this movie. I mean, we touched on this couple episodes ago, so I won't go in that much detail about it. But since JJ was back and I had hashtag in JJ we trust, I was excited and I had hope. So I was hyped. And then we got the second teaser trailer from D23. I want to talk about that one for a little bit. So it shows clips from all the other movies. And then it shows some clips.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It shows some clips from The Rise of Skywalker. And then, okay, well, actually rewinding a little bit. At the very end of the first trailer that we watched, that's when we heard Palpatine's laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
And
we're like,
then
okay,
that was at,
somehow he's back.
Celebration. That's when that came out.
Okay.
And then they had Ian, I don't know what his name is.
Ian
something.
McDermott.
Yeah, he walked on screen right after it ended, and he's like,
Roll it again.
And then they played it again.
Yep.
Which I thought was fun.
So anyway, I feel like we should have touched on that. Okay, so then the second teaser trailer comes out. It shows all the clips from the other movies, and then a couple clips from Rise of Skywalker. And then the screen goes black, and then it's dark gray.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that for the first time, I lost my mind. Unfortunately, there was a very big part of me that was
Knew
like
the truth.
Deep down inside, I already knew. It was just a vision. It was just a forced vision.
Honestly, I think everybody that's
How
that
cool would have that been, though?
It would have been so
Okay,
cool.
that's the thing, though. It's like storyline-wise, I think for The Last Jedi, Rey should have joined Kylo when he reached out.
Oh, I
for her.
completely agree.
She should have gone to the dark side there because of those dark side tendencies, which would have forced Luke to come back and be the main good guy.
Yeah. Once we finish all the episodes, I want to talk about stuff we wish would have happened.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Okay, so I won't go into that right now. Okay, so then Dark Rey, double-bladed folding lightsaber, the coolest thing. I got my Funko Pop coming this week of that.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, pre-ordered that thing. That was
so the hype was
cool.
real for you.
Yeah.
So for me, not as real. Most of my hype was just the fact of seeing it with the boys. We got the whole squad together going to B-dubs and then going to go see it. That was a lot of my hype, was honestly doing that. Because I was more hyped for The Mandalorian at the time. I was more hyped for Clone Wars. Like, I'm really hyped for Clone Wars now after that trailer came out.
I know.
But before that trailer came out, like, I was more hyped to go to see The Mandalorian at the time. Because I was like, I'm going to see it. I'm going to, whatever. But I was way more hyped just going. I wasn't more hyped to actually like see the movie. And like that's the difference with me and like Clone Wars. I'm more hyped to see the Clone Wars instead of like watching the Clone Wars.
Yep. Okay, so I don't think we'll go too in depth in the movie.
Yeah,
we
just
had a
went
whole
in depth,
2-hour podcast about it. If you want to hear what we have to say about The Rise of Skywalker, go check out that one. It's episode number 2. We'll touch on a couple of things.
Yeah,
though.
no, for sure, definitely.
Overall, my biggest worry, as excited as I was, my biggest worry was I was not going to be satisfied with the ending of the Skywalker saga. And it's complicated. Because first time I saw it, I was satisfied, but then I was like, well, Ben didn't have to die.
Yeah, first time I saw it, I was also satisfied. I'm still satisfied.
I'd say I'm still satisfied too. It wasn't a bad ending.
No, it wasn't bad.
Which is what I was worried about.
Yeah.
But
especially for what JJ had to work with, just the weight of finishing a 42-year-long saga.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can say it like that, there's a giant... Well, yeah, you can say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you did a really good job at finishing this up.
Yeah.
For sure. But no, I mean, I agree with you. Ben did not. He deserved better. He didn't have to die.
There were a lot of missed opportunities with this one.
A lot of missed opportunities, though.
Overall, though, I still loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Force Ghosts, how hard would it have been?
Well, they have the footage. We know that now.
Or
footage is out there.
Why couldn't it have Ben and Rey, like made an X with their lightsabers and took out the Emperor together?
That'd make a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the Force dyad power.
Even if it only had to be one of them who killed the Emperor, it should have been Ben.
I completely agree.
He's the Skywalker.
He is. Yeah, I completely agree.
Like, I mean, I love Rey, but like, Ben should have been the one to take down the Emperor.
He should have. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. But initially, I mean, you loved it initially. I also loved it initially. I mean, you really
I was
loved
bawling
it
my eyes out.
Yeah,
at
you were
the end.
You gave it 10 out of 10 KCL reviews.
I had the opposite effect. Or you know how you talked about you liked The Last Jedi first time you saw it? I was in the same way. I mean, I still love The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
It's just not as much.
No, I'm
that
right
I've been
there
able
with
to
you.
like think about it and stuff.
Yeah, now I think about it and all plot wise and all that stuff. I still love it, but yeah, there's still like okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's some stuff here.
It was a very emotional couple of hours for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I cried a lot.
You weren't ready.
I wasn't. Even before the movie started, I mean, there was nothing I could have done.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to let it happen.
All right, so we won't go too into it, but what are some of your favorite parts of Rise of Skywalker, or favorite part?
Ben Solo. When
Ben
Rey
Solo.
hands off the lightsaber behind her head.
Mm-hmm.
And the shrug.
Yeah.
Favorite part in all of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that confidently. That whole, and then the team up with them before, it happens. But I loved that scene. So good. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think my favorite part is probably still when Han saved
Mm-hmm. Ben.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I agree. Just all the parts with Ben in them in general, they're just so good.
Mm-hmm.
All the fight, all the Han moments, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
And I love all the little Maz stuff too.
Yeah.
Because I love Maz.
They did Maz dirty in The Last Jedi.
They did. She was a hologram for like 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. I wish we'd have gotten more Ben Solo, man. We didn't get enough of him.
No, yeah. And I also heard, I don't know if we mentioned this in the Rise of Skywalker episode, but with how Disney came in and edited stuff, without telling JJ.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we won't know because we weren't going to see it, but with JJ's cut, we might have, because I heard that with that scene with Ben being saved from Han, Leia was using the last stuff she had in her to force project Han from Kylo's memory.
Mm-hmm.
But how it was cut and edited, what we got, it doesn't look like that at all.
Yeah, we don't know.
It looks like she just dies right as soon as she says Ben.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I mean, I would have liked that. It would have made a bit more sense too, why he was actually there and not just, he's there just for the audience to see it.
Yeah.
If she was there, he's there because Leia actually projected Han there. That makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But
yep.
That would have been nice.
Dislikes. Go.
Oh, geez. The beginning part of the movie with the comedy, I just can't. I really want to go see it again, but I don't want to go see it again in theaters because I don't want to spend the money. But I don't like a lot of the comedy in that beginning part of the movie.
Like when they're on the Falcon?
When they're on a Falcon?
Yeah, because that's the beginning of the...
Some of that part isn't that bad. Well, I mean, there are some... Okay, it's been a while since I've seen it now. But I think there was some stuff in there I didn't like. I mean, I like the whole sequence, though, with light speed skipping. I thought that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it was when they're on Pasana. Most of it.
Yeah.
And a little bit when they're on Agent Kloss, which Pasana's the sand planet, and Agent Kloss is the resistant base planet, for you guys who don't know. Probably mainly that, though. Just that comedy and stuff. And just the missed opportunities.
Yeah.
Which we can talk all about the missed opportunities. We've dived into it in the last episode. I mean, Rise of Skywalker episode. But that's probably the main things I wasn't a huge fan of. What about you?
I don't have that many dislikes with this movie, but the things I do have dislikes with are heavy.
Yeah.
And they make up for not that many things. Force Ghost should have been there.
Yep.
Ben shouldn't have died.
Completely agree.
They probably should have explained a little bit more how the Emperor came to be.
Yeah.
Biggest thing probably, besides Ben dying, maybe, or the Force Ghost, the movie should have been longer. There's so much that needed to be explained.
It was originally 3 hours.
Yeah. Endgame was 3 hours. Why couldn't have you made this one?
Endgame was only 10 years. Star Wars is 42.
Yeah.
Dude, we need a 3-hour Star Wars movie. People would lose their marbles. I would go crazy over a 3-hour Star Wars movie.
How hard would it have been?
It would. They already had it. JJ had it, but no.
It would have. And a lot of the problems people have with this movie is it didn't explain it a lot. If the movie would have been longer, these people wouldn't have had problems with it.
If you're an actual Star Wars fan, you play Fortnite, because they had a Fortnite Star Wars event where Emperor Palpatine said his message that we didn't get to hear in Rise of Skywalker. Because, why would we put that in the movie? Because that's like a major plot point of the movie. But we'll put it in Fortnite instead. Why? I still have you listened to it?
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it yet. I keep forgetting to do it.
It's not that special.
No, yeah, I wouldn't think. But again, they're marketing with this movie. What the heck? That makes, please put it in Fortnite. That's what we want to know. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, so those are my problems with this film.
Mm-hmm. So, and then with the audience and critics.
Audience liked it.
Yeah, audience
critics,
liked it.
It's now the worst rated Star Wars movie out of them all.
Yep. Which is kind of crazy.
It is crazy.
It completely flipped from Last Jedi.
Uh-huh. I mean, audience score is more important than critic score.
No, I completely agree. I don't care at all what the critic score is.
Critics are losers.
I don't think they're losers. I mean, they got to watch a lot of movies, so,
matter.
But no, I don't care. If I'm going to like a movie, I'm going to like it. I don't care what critics say about it. You know what I mean? I've never looked at that stuff. I just think it's worth mentioning with this particular case.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I think we should, or let's say overall sequel trilogy.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
You know that.
Yep.
I feel like anybody that's listening knows that by now.
Yeah. I also liked it too.
I mean, there are things I would have changed story-wise. Absolutely. Probably would have done things completely different with The Last Jedi and a lot of things different with The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
That The Force Awakens set it up perfectly. And, we got what we got, and, it's whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you. I liked them. We got what we got. The planning with it was just absolute garbage. You can't. I understand you were trying to have this whole director thing.
Lack of planning was the biggest problem with the sequels.
It's a huge problem. You're so particular and exact with
because
Marvel.
You can tell that they had no idea where the story was going.
No idea. It doesn't. Yeah, like with Marvel, they're so particular.
Which is why they should have had one writer for all three.
No, they should
have a clear-cut plan for all three movies instead of changing your mind every movie about who the characters are and what their motives are.
Exactly. Like George Lucas, when he made the original trilogy, he made 4, and then with 5, he tried to step back and let
Irvin Kershner.
Yeah, Irvin Kershner tried to have him kind of direct it, but he couldn't. He had to be there.
Yeah.
So, and same with Return of the Jedi and the prequels. You can't have people coming in with these different perspectives of everything. We get what we get with the sequels. But now that the sequels are over, I think Star Wars is going to be a lot better. Because I feel like that was kind of like an experiment.
Hopefully they learn from their mistakes.
I think they're going to learn from it and be like, okay.
They realize they have to plan things out ahead of time.
We need to plan. Like, J.J. Abrams did not plan to have Emperor Palpatine come back in the last movie. I mean, now that it's happened, you could definitely point stuff out to justify it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was not going to happen.
I agree.
So just the lack of planning, changing directors midway through like that was just it's okay if you had Rian Johnson direct a movie, but JJ still should have been there with his story.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is what we're doing, but you're directing the movie, like they did with the original
Because
trilogy.
Ryan Johnson had complete creative control. With
Yeah.
Episode
Which
8.
I mean, it would have been cool having Ryan Johnson direct it because I've heard good, like the Knives Out movie.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard it's a really good movie,
Mm-hmm.
so he probably is a good director. It's just
But he wanted
But he
to
wanted-
do his own thing with Star Wars.
exactly. He wanted a
And
completely
he only got
different
one
story.
movie to do it, and he did. He gave us The Last Jedi. So thanks, Ryan.
It's so yeah, it really boils down to the planning. It's but I think now that this is over, I feel like it was kind of an experiment almost with this sequel. I feel like now that it's over, Star Wars is gonna get better. I mean, Mandalorian's good, and the Clone Wars is coming out, and that's gonna be good.
Yeah.
So I feel like Star Wars will get better now.
Where would you rank the sequel trilogy of the 3? But better or worse than the prequels?
Better or worse than the prequels? See, that's so hard because I grew up with the prequels and I love the prequels. But at the same time, a lot of the stuff I can appreciate a bit more now with like the kind of like Senate political kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But not political. You know what I mean by
Yeah.
political. In the sense of
Politics.
Star Wars realm. You know, we're not actually getting political real world
Galactic
issues.
Senate.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, nobody really sits down and like, oh man, I want to go watch episode 2 so I can look at all this Senate stuff.
Yeah.
Like, no, nobody really cares. So, and if we're just talking about prequels, I'd probably say the sequel trilogy is probably better than the prequels for movie wise, because I mean the prequels have a really good grounded story, and it knows where it's going, and it knows where it has to be to the original trilogy. But at the same time, there's a lot of parts in the prequels. But I don't know. That's so hard. I don't know if I can decide, dude. They're
That's
like
okay.
neck and neck.
That's okay.
Because I do really like the prequels though. There's a lot of stuff I don't like about the prequels. Clearly, like with everything, but it's really hard to decide.
Mm-hmm. You know where I would rank the sequels.
Yeah, they're at the top.
Yep. What's your favorite out of the 3? If I had, you know what mine is. Obviously.
Yeah.
Would you agree with me?
I'd probably say Force Awakens the best. I like The Rise of Skywalker, but I mean I also love The Force Awakens because Han's in it majority of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just love the whole story of Force Awakens really, for the most part.
How would you rank 3 then?
Force Awakens being the top.
Yep.
Ooh, this is kind of hard. I don't
It's
know.
easy for me, but
Yeah, I mean, I know
Force
what yours
Awakens,
is.
Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi.
Yeah. I feel like I'd probably put Rise of Skywalker second just because I enjoyed more of that movie than I did Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy the Rey and parts and all that in Last Jedi, but Rise of Skywalker enjoy like the movie as a whole kind of thing.
Yep.
So how are we doing on time?
We are at an hour and 48, so we could probably wrap it whenever. A little bit of a lengthy episode, but it was a lengthy topic.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I think that's good to wrap it up. Well, I think maybe we could probably talk about what we wished. Well, I mean, do you want to talk about what we wished, what happens in each movie, or do you want to leave it for another time?
I mean, I kind of already touched on it
Yeah.
a little bit. Force Awakens was fine, wouldn't change a thing. Last Jedi, Rey joins the dark side. Luke has to come back, be the main protagonist. Rise of Skywalker, well, I guess if you go from there, Rise of Skywalker would be a little bit different. Maybe somehow you bring Rey and Ben back to the light. I don't know.
I think, we can just touch on this real quick. I think for me, I would change how Force Awakens ended. I'd want Luke and Leia to be there when Han died instead of Rey and Finn.
No, I would agree.
Because
this is, give Han some respect.
Yeah, he needs respect. You have these two characters that barely know him, and they're all emotional and stuff, but like he should have been there. And I think, I don't know how. I feel like Luke should have been the one fighting off Kylo as well.
Yeah.
But, and then like from there, like with Last Jedi, I agree with you. I think Rey should have joined Kylo, and then probably done something different with the whole casino thing, something that actually made sense. I wouldn't want them just to be flying in space because that makes no sense. Why would you not just have a bunch of ships come fly out and attack you, or you just speed up or whatever?
Yeah.
So that would definitely be changed. But like big wise, I'd want them joining, and then Luke have to try and bring Rey back and whatever. I would still want Emperor Palpatine to be there though.
Yeah, for sure. You can't,
Because
to me, he's been behind all 9 movies.
exactly.
He's behind the whole thing, pulling the strings. So, like, how do you end it without him?
But more explanation on why he's there. The movie should be longer.
Give us Force Ghosts.
Force Ghost. This fleet should not have been that big. That was a lot of people.
More screen time for Sith troopers, please.
Yes, more screen time for those. Just more explanation in general in the Rise of Skywalker. Like, I'm okay with Star Wars having some mystery to it, but I feel like with this, especially when you're introducing the Emperor back and he's been dead since forever. Like, you gotta give some explanation for people.
Yeah. Definitely not the perfect trilogy, but yeah, I'm good with it. I still love it.
For like main plot wise, that's probably what I've changed. Like I can go really into it,
Yeah.
And both of us could, but like main stuff,
we'll keep it at that for now.
For sure.
All right. Does that do it?
Yeah, I think that about wraps it up for today.
Sweet.
The sequel trilogy.
2 thumbs up from Kevin.
Yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up too.
Okay,
It
cool.
was a good sequel.
We'll just have to see where Star Wars goes from here.
Yeah, I have hopes for it.
I do too.
All right, what should
We gotta thank the people first.
We gotta thank the people first. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you people for listening or watching or however you enjoyed this Star Wars podcast.
Hopefully your eyes feel better by the time you get to this one because it looks better.
Yeah, hopefully the camera quality turned out a lot better than it did last week. I do apologize for that. Also, I'm wearing the same shirt I did last week, but that's because it's the only sequel themed shirt I have, so I had to be on brand.
It's also cold.
It is cold in here. We have to turn off the heat
when
we record these because it makes like a loud fan noise and we don't want that to be picked up. So it gets a little chilly when we record these. But yeah, this is the only sequel shirt I had. We decorated the table this week with only sequel stuff. Got to keep it on theme,
Try to, a little bit.
So yeah, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Live at the Cantina. Check us out Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube. Hopefully iTunes soon. I still gotta work on that. I've just been lazy. I apologize, dude. I've been so busy with homework and stuff the past couple. And this weekend I have no time to do anything because I'm doing that hockey game tonight, and we got the Super Bowl tomorrow, and I still gotta write a whole freaking paper some time in between then. Okay, sorry. That was
leave a like, subscribe, share with your friends. Want to build up that audience so we can do Q&As with you guys. That'd be awesome. Leave a comment. Any topic suggestions you want us to talk about? Anything you guys like, dislike, anything?
Topic suggestions would be helpful because we have ideas, but if you want to hear something,
we want to know what you guys want to hear.
We gotta please the audience.
Yeah.
So follow us on the socials. Okay. So what are they gonna comment this week? Hashtag what?
Hashtag spread positivity. That's not really Star.
No, it's gotta be Star Wars theme. Hashtag.
It is. The community's really bad.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking from that.
Hashtag
the sequels were aight.
The sequels were aight. I like it. They were aight. Hashtag TheSequelsWereIGHT.
Yes.
Not all right.
No.
Aight. IGHT.
Sequels aight.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
I'm Kevin. You probably know that by now.
No.
Okay. And we will see you next week.
Yep. See you guys next week.